Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into today's video in GavsWeatherVids Sunday Roundup for today's video. So this is your once a month Sunday eclectic mix. Looking at this and that, like sea surface temperature, anomalies, solar activity, Eurasian snow cover, Arctic surface extent, Arctic oscillation, Northern Atlantic oscillation, and more as well. So sit back, relax, enjoy, and I shall talk you through the Sunday Roundup in a moment. Just to say that first video today was our 6 AM UK weather forecast, and we've also released the first update for summer 2024. Oh, check that one out if you'd like to do that. We're going to be live at 6 PM discussing the Sunday Roundup, discussing the summer update, and doing a 10 to 14 there and bringing you some long range as well. So I shall see you live at 6 PM for that. Please like, share, and subscribe on all today's videos and content. As I say, thanks so much everyone for doing this for GavsWeatherVids. Right, going to start off with solar activity then. This our solar disk is looking on our side of this day from solarham.net. We've got various sunspot regions. However, despite that, solar activity is at low levels and is predicted to be remaining at low levels for the next couple of days. This is the GavsWeatherVids Sunday Roundup Solar Activity Tracker, updated by good friend Schreier Bruin, up to the 2nd of March. Thank you so much to Schreier for updating this. We go all the way back to April 2022 with this. You see that solar activity at the moment is kind of flatlining a little bit. So our first peak of solar cycle 25 happens around here. Really, these are, of course, the orange line, orange spots depicting each individual day's worth of sunspot activity. So that spot just there, or those spots there, that is the first peak, I think, now of solar cycle number 25. And that happened back towards the middle part of last summer. Now, since then, we have been at a lower level of activity. I mean, we are still around solar maximum. So, yes, you know, we get regular sunspot numbers and whatnot, but not reaching the level that we went to back in the middle of 2023 when we had our first spike of the solar cycle 25, or our first maximum, I should say, solar cycle 25. So you see how the thick green line and thick blue line show the 30-day and 60-day averages, respectively, are kind of flatlining away at this level. They picked up to there, and then they fell away through the autumn of 2023 to that level, and that's where they've remained, really, over the past several months. So at the moment, we're at a pretty high level of solar activity, but not at the level we got to when we had our first maximum. Now, this is how solar cycle 25 compared to solar cycle 24 on a month-by-month basis. Again, you see the first maximum of solar cycle 25 happening just here. That's around July 2023, I think. Since then, the orange, the blue line, I should say, and blue spots, at a lower level, so down around here. Now, that's similar to what happened in solar cycle 24 after the first maximum, but at a higher level. So if we come over here, this is the first maximum of solar cycle 24 happening at the end of 2011, and then through 2012 and the first half of 2013, we're around here. So again, we kind of ease off on the solar cycle, ease off the gas, albeit, you know, really still regular sunspot numbers, and that's what's happening this time again, I think. But the difference is, so the two significant differences, but the first solar maximum, solar cycle 25, is bigger than the first solar maximum for solar cycle 24, and where we ease off at is at a higher level. It's at a higher level compared to where we eased off at in solar cycle 24. So it's just basically a more active solar cycle. You remember at the outset, we was expecting solar cycle 25 to be broadly similar in activity, you know, in sunspot numbers and whatnot, in strength, I suppose, broadly similar to solar cycle 24. As it turns out, solar cycle 25 has been a more active solar cycle, which we wasn't particularly expecting at the outset. The question is whether we will find another maximum occur. We probably will. Most of solar cycles do have two maximums. For example, for solar cycle 24, the second maximum and the maximum of the solar cycle actually happened at the beginning of 2014. So we're probably looking at another solar maximum, you know, another a second maximum, if you like. And the question will be whether that happens in 2024 or 2025. We'll probably discuss that a little bit more on Solar Sunday, which will be coming up, I think, on Easter Sunday. So that's going to be very exciting. Solar Sunday on Easter Sunday on the way. Thank you to Strive for the trackers. Okay, this is from Rich. Thank you so much to Richard for sending history. This is showing spotted days and the current spotted stretch. So for 2024, every day so far this year has had sunspots, as you expect, given that we are around solar maximum. So, yes, that's comparable to what happened last year as well, when every day had sunspots in 2023. We did have one day in 2022, but didn't have any sunspots. And then, of course, we go close to solar minimum. So in 2021, we have 64 days without sunspots. In 2020, we have 208 days without sunspots. Our solar minimum year, of course, was 2019, quite a few years ago now. 5 years ago, even, with 281 days without sunspots. Now, a comparable year from solar cycle 24 to this year is, I think, 2013 is what we said last time, isn't it? So we're comparable to 2013 for solar cycle 24, and you know, that year also had every day with sunspots. Interestingly, there was one day in 2014 but didn't have any sunspots, and that's the solar maximum year, of course. So just to show you, strange things can happen. But basically, every year in 2024, every year in 2025, every year in 2026 should have sunspots. But in 2027, that should be the first year that we start beginning to move down towards solar minimum. Of course, it's not a linear process. It'll take a few years to get there. Probably won't get to solar minimum to about 2030. But 2027 will be the year that we should start to see the spot these days, you know, coming back a little bit more regularly. Thank you so much to Shreyan, and thank you so much to Richard for sending through the solar data. And I say, Solar Sunday is coming very soon. Stand by for announcements. Right, let's have a look at the oceans then. Let's have the oceans looking at the last GavsWeatherVids study roundup at the beginning of February. Got our 4 interest areas. Got the ENSO region just here. Got the Northern Pacific up here with a particular focus on the Northeastern Pacific. Got the Indian Ocean here. And then got the North Atlantic over there. Well, that's how things were looking last month. This is the latest. So let's deal with the ENSO region first of all. El Nino signature continues. Most parts of the ENSO region still have above average sea surface temperature anomalies. The signature of El Nino, albeit a little bit less so compared to last month. However, I want to draw your attention over to the extreme eastern portion of the ENSO region just here. We are beginning to see just a little bit of cooling going on there, and down here as well. Now, if we're going to start moving towards La Nina, what we're going to be looking out for is for this area, first of all, start turning quite a lot cooler. So off the coast of Chile, going up to Peru, we'll be looking for colder than average sea surface temperature anomalies to start appearing, possibly into the extreme eastern portion of the equatorial Pacific Ocean as well. Bear in mind, when you get close to the coast of South America, those are shallow waters and can be impacted by, you know, regional weather and whatnot. But into the central portion of the equatorial Pacific Ocean, we'll be watching for that to start cooling down, but not necessarily seeing cold average sea surface temperature anomalies there yet. The first signs of La Nina, or indeed El Nino the other way, tends to be changes in the sea surface temperature anomalies around here and again around there. In the non-Pacific, things are cooling down, so the colder average PDO signature beginning to strengthen. That's how things looked in the northern and northeastern Pacific last month. This is how things looking this month. We see it's cooling through here and cooling around there as well. So definite changes going on there, shifting towards a colder PDO type signature. That could again be a precursor to the arrival of La Nina by the summer. And then in the Indian Ocean, well, we just see it's generally warm than average, really, across most portions of the Indian Ocean. So we have lost that strong positive IOD signature that we had into the beginning of the winter. Over in the North Atlantic, let's have a look at how things looking last month. Again, see quite a warm North Atlantic, particularly in the tropical and subtropical region. See the latest, that's ongoing, that never seems to change at the moment, does it? So remains significantly warmer than average through here. Maybe a little bit more a little bit more cooling has taken place through there though. It remains quite warm to south of Greenland. So as we go into the spring, we're probably seeing a little bit more, if anything, of a negative LEO type signature there, a little bit more of a tripole type signature. Though again, still not a classic tripole signature. You would be looking for this area to turn colder than it is, and probably turn a bit warmer under there, under Greenland out there. This area is fine, very significantly above average sea surface temperature. Again, the fact that it's so warm through here, so all of this area is like the development area for tropical storms and hurricanes and whatnot, you know, Cape Verde Islands, etc., through there, and going in towards the subtropical Atlantic as well. So if this carries on, I've got to think it probably will, it will be a continued signal for another pretty big hurricane season, especially if that is combined then with La Nina developing. So I reckon we could be in for a pretty big hurricane season this year. I might try doing a GavsWeatherVids hurricane forecast for the hurricane season. Actually, how does that sound? That'll be the first time I've ever done one of those, but I might have a go at doing a little forecast for the 2024 hurricane season, because I do think it could be quite a big one this year, so stand by for that. This is the 7-day change, 7-day trend in terms of sea surface temperatures. So it has actually cooled a little bit over there, but of course your numbers are so far above average that it's still warm, and it's warming through here as well. And still warming in the North Atlantic also. You notice the cooling here towards the eastern portion of the equatorial Pacific Ocean and down the coast of Chile and Peru as well. Again, that's just maybe the first little precursor signs of the La Nina. The central portion of the equatorial Pacific Ocean is still warming a little bit. Otherwise, not a huge amount of change over the past 7 days. This is subsurface. So those are sea surface temperature anomalies. It's how the subsurface temperature anomalies are looking in the equatorial Pacific Ocean. So this is from the CPC NCP NOAA PDF. They update this every week. You know, always really interesting if you're interested in El Nino, La Nina, and all of that sort of thing. So that is like the surface of the equatorial Pacific Ocean just there. So if you think that like Peru would be here, and then Indonesia would be over there. Now you see the El Nino signature still continues on the surface and just under the surface of the equatorial Pacific Ocean through here. But as you go a little bit lower down, generally 15 meters or lower, then you start finding these colder than average sea surface temperature anomalies, subsurface temperature anomalies, I should say, particularly through there, but also just here and at depth around here. And again, it's just perhaps an indication that La Nina could well be on where at the moment the cold average subsurface temperatures are generally around 50 meters or lower. I reckon we'll probably see those intensifying over the next few weeks and months and whatnot. That will be something to watch out for in the coming weeks and months. Right, this is how the Southern Oscillation Index is looking. So SOI, of course, is an index that's reflecting the atmospheric state in the Southern Ocean. When you're in a negative SOI, measuring air pressure between Tahiti and Darwin, essentially. And when you're in a negative SOI, then the atmospheric setup is reflective of El Nino. When you're in a positive SOI, the atmospheric setup will be reflective of La Nina. Now, if we come down here, this is from Queensland Government. If you come down here, you see in the early part of February, you did have some exceptionally negative SOI numbers, like the 5th of February minus 36, 6th of February minus 41, 9th of February minus 46, and 11th of February minus 40. Atmospheric state very, very, very strongly reflective of El Nino at that point. Probably that's the peak in terms of the SOI anyway of this El Nino event. We have shifted into a more positive phase of the SOI now, so we can see, for example, 25th of February we're at +2, 27th of February we're at +12, 28th of February we're at +14, and the latest number, 2nd of March, we're at +4. So the SOI has shifted from a very, very, very strongly El Nino type setup first half of February to, let's say, at least a much more ENSO neutral to possibly weak La Nina type setup through the latter part of February and into the beginning of March. And that is moving the SOI 30-day average, which is this red line. So notice how this really dips down through the earlier middle part of February. It's exceptionally negative, but now it's starting to come back up again. And that probably signals the end of this El Nino event. So how strong did the El Nino event get? This is from CPC, NCP, and as well. This is kind of warmer seasons, episode by seasons. So it did actually become quite a strong El Nino event. This, you see these red numbers here. This is the tri-monthly sea surface temperature anomalies. And you see at the peak, we did actually go to 2 degrees above average. We're getting pretty close to Super Nino territory, perhaps just a little bit under Super Nino. Jamie Super Nino is like 2015-16, when we go to about 2.5 degrees above average. But, you know, borderline anyway, strong to super with this El Nino. And those red numbers, the El Nino event will continue for at least the next 2 or 3 tri-monthly periods as well. Probably eventually we should see it going back to black, going back to neutral, and then later on around the summer we will probably see, you know, blue numbers starting to appear, and that will tell us that La Nina is back. Because it had a very, very long run of La Nina. Had a triple dip La Nina, started in 2020, 2021, then we had our second year, which was 2021, 2022, and then we had our third year with the triple dip, which was 2022, 2023. So we have 3 years of La Nina, then we sort of backed off and went to El Nino, and a strong El Nino at that, but it looks like we're going to very quickly find ourselves going back to La Nina again as we go through this year. Certainly that will happen if this is right. This is from CFS. So this is the forecast for region 3.4, which is the central part of the actual Pacific Ocean. So we've got our temperature anomalies along the side, dates and monthly periods along the bottom. So we're currently here, still in El Nino territory, albeit weakening from the peak of the El Nino event, which happened around Christmas. But look at the black dash line, really doing a bungee jump, so that by the time we get to April, May, we're already at ENSO neutral, and by the time we get through to July, we're pretty solidly into La Nina, and CFS is forecasting that this will become a strong to super La Nina event. Now, I suspect it's probably overdoing the strength of the signal there. So what tends to happen with the CFS is that it gets the direction CFS ENSO broadcast anyway, not necessarily any other output from the CFS. But what does tend to happen with the CFS ENSO El Nino or La Nina forecast, but it tends to get the direction of travel correct, so it usually, you know, quite successfully picks up whether we're going to have an El Nino, a La Nina, or an ENSO neutral type setup, but it often does overdo the strength of these events. So I would anticipate it's probably overdoing, you know, the very, very strong La Nina that it's setting up to the second half of 2024. But I think it probably has got the flip from El Nino to La Nina correct. And the question for us here in the UK for this summer is going to be whether it's right with this very quick flip from El Nino to La Nina, because that can sometimes be bad news for summer. However, you have a much slower development from El Nino to La Nina. So let's say instead of doing something like that, it actually in reality does something a little bit more less dramatic, like that, for example. then the summer might not be too bad. You know, there are sometimes some pretty reasonable summers that coincide with a slow transition from El Nino to La Nina. So it's going to be interesting to see how all of that works out. In terms of the IOD, we are currently in IOD neutral conditions now. So this from Bureau of Meteorology have got one model still keeping us at borderline, this forecast data of course, one model keeping us at borderline positive IOD conditions in March, but most of the model output, Bureau of Meteorology, East Meteo France, UK there, most of the model output is predicting that will be around IOD neutral. April starts shifting perhaps a little bit more towards positive IOD again, but still within neutral territory. But that's interesting. May, June, July, perhaps signalling more of a chance for positive IOD. Albeit most of those model predictions continue to have us around neutral for the Indian Ocean dipole. No sign that would go to a negative IOD, though, you'll notice. Certainly not before July anyway. QBO, quasi-biennial oscillation next. So this is from NASA. We have to think that these are levels of the atmosphere just here. So this is the top of the atmosphere, what we call the stratosphere, 10 HPA. And this is where the troposphere is. That's where weather is taking place. That is between 30 and, of course, also 50 HPA. Just there. This blue-green turquoise sort of area is the latest phase of the easterly QBO, the easterly quasi-biennial oscillation, which started through the middle of last year, descended very nicely from the stratosphere in troposphere, and so we are continuing to see a proper easterly QBO. Up here, though, we have the next westerly QBO phase lurking at the top of the atmosphere in the stratosphere, not yet having any impact on the troposphere, but through the second half of 2024, we will probably see those sandy brown areas descending, and that will be our next westerly QBO phase. The winter of 2024-25 is likely to be a westerly QBO winter, I think. Arctic oscillation looking like this. So the AO is on the move. Remember, the black line shows where we've been. With the Arctic oscillation, red lines at the end. With GFS ensembles forecasting Arctic oscillation to go. We're currently around neutral with the AO, but the GFS ensembles are forecasting the Arctic oscillation will be going negative through the first half of March. So remember, it's always weather drives the index. The reason the AO is predicted to go negative there is that we're going to be seeing a strengthening of the blocking signal over the Arctic and North Pole. Blocking is route to get cold air out of the pole down into mid latitudes. Does depend where the blocking sits, though, as to who gets the cold. But certainly an increase in the blocking signal there with a negative AO Arctic oscillation in the first half of March. The LEO is also going weakly negative if the GFS ensembles are correct. Currently, we are positive with the North Atlantic oscillation. GFS ensembles forecasting that we're likely to go weekly negative with the LEO. So with both the indexes, the AO and the LEO going into negative territory, this could well be a signal for colder weather through the first half of March. Eurasian snow cover looking like this. Not much going on in Europe away from Scandinavia and Nordic regions anyway for snow cover. Quite interesting how the snow line sort of stops right on the border of Russia and Europe there, isn't it? So the snow line has got right to the border virtually of Russia and stopped. We have got a few little snow patches here and there, particularly in mountainous areas, of course, like the Alps, Pyrenees, for example, but nowhere near as much as you'd expect at the end of the meteorological winter, beginning of meteorological spring, except, as I say, of the extreme north of Europe, so Norway, central parts of Sweden, Finland, those sort of areas have got decent snow cover. Southern Sweden standing out as lacking in snow cover there. I know a pretty disappointing season in terms of snow cover, especially for Europe. Into the Arctic region, this yellow area is Arctic sea ice extent, of course. Looks like quite a bit of that around, so let's finally see how we're doing as we reach the maximum for Arctic sea ice extent for 2024. So this blue line is Arctic sea ice Arctic sea ice extent for this year, for 2024 up to present. Let's put in, so let's see how we're doing compared to long-term averages first of all. So how are we doing compared to our most recent 10-year average, 2011 to 2020? Let's put that in. So actually we are above average in terms of our recent 10-year average. Got more Arctic sea ice than you would expect us to have compared to the 2011 to 2020 average. If we put in 2001 to 2010, then we are a little bit below that average. So we're above our most recent 10-year average and below the previous 10-year average. And then, of course, we're going to be well below 1991 to 2020 and even further below 1979 to 1990. So compared to our most recent 10-year average, we're doing pretty well, actually, but Arctic sea ice extent, but we are lagging behind the other 10-year average years. What about recent years? So let's see how we compare to this time last year, 2023. So we have got, quite a bit more in way of Arctic sea ice extent compared to this point in 2023. Actually, we're above 2023 right now. 2022, very close to 2022, ever so slightly above it, but not much in it. We're virtually on par with 2022. 2021, no, we are above 2021, but getting closer to that year. 2020, we're bang on 2020 there. 2019, a little bit above that year for Arctic sea ice extent. 2018, quite considerably above 2018. 2017, we're significantly above that year for Arctic sea ice extent as well. 2016, we're doing better than that year also. 2015, we're doing better than that year. 2014, doing better than 2014 as well. 2013 is the first year, or one of the first years, that we are a little bit below, a little bit under in terms of Arctic sea ice extent. 2012, we're very much on a par with that, and that, of course, became a record minimum year eventually. So just going to show what's happening right now doesn't really tell you a great deal about what's going to happen in September when we reach our minimum for the year, because you can see, what happened in 2012. We are on a par with 2012 right now. That does not mean we will go off into, another record minimum year, though, of course. 2011 looks like that, so we're above 2011 for Arctic sea ice extent right now. 2010, we're on bang on that one. 2009, we're just ever so slightly under 2009, not much in it. 2008, we are a little bit under 2008. 2007, virtually bang on that one, a little bit ahead of it perhaps. 2006, we are doing better for Arctic sea ice extent right now in 2006 at this point. 2005, we have been generally a little bit ahead of 2005, but have sort of reached parity with it now. 2004, so we're under 2004, and now we're going to go back into the years that we're going to be under, that's 2003, this is 2002. Look how much further under 2002 we are right now, 2001, and that disparity is just going to get greater as we go further and further back. So I don't think we'll see any line, that is under this year then. So all of the years from 2002, 2003, 2004 onwards, we're going to be under all of those years, I think, going all the way back into the 1980s and whatnot. We won't go any further back than that. We're all right. We'll put 85, 84, 83, 82, 81, 80, 79, 2003, 2004. And you see, where we are, we're under all of those years then. So, I mean, compared to, the last 15 years or so, we're not doing too badly. Compared to the longer term record, we're not doing very well. And compared to our most recent 10-year average, we're not doing too badly either. Right, well, that's been an interesting watch, hasn't it? I hope you found it interesting, everyone. If you have, then please give us a like on the, on the video, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Don't get to tell friends about GavsWeatherVids. We thank you so much. So that is your March 2024 Season 1 Roundup. We'll do another one again in April. And we'll keep doing these every month, the first Sunday of every month, right way through after August, then the Sunday Roundups will be discarded as the winter updates return at the beginning of September. And it'll come round before you know it. 6 months is all we've got, and that will go quickly. I can promise you that. So won't be long before we're back into winter updates mode again. But we have got more Sunday Roundups to go before that happens, of course. So we'll be back in April, of course, doing your next Sunday Roundup. We are going to be back later on today, though, live at 6 p.m. We'll be live streaming our 10 to 14 there. We'll include some long-range amounts where you've got questions about this Sunday Roundup or indeed today's first summer update. Then please fire away on the live, and I shall see you a little bit later on for that one. For the March 2024 GavsWeatherVids Sunday Roundup, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.